Hi there, welcome to More Yoga. I'm Yvonne, I'm one of the More Yoga teachers. So we're on lockdown, so we're doing new things, trying new things, but it's still yoga practice. So well done for making the time to practice your yoga today and hopefully every day as much as you can, because I think time for self is really important right now. So I'm really proud to be with More Yoga and able to offer these sessions online. And I've decided to do like short 30-minute sessions, just either doing a short broken down practice or focusing on a restorative pose. So this session is a chair yoga session. So you might need to put me on pause and go off and get yourself an open back chair, something that looks as similar to this as possible. And then you'll also need two foam blocks or two hardback books and just one blanket. That's all you need for this session. Okay. So to start, we're just going to come to sitting on the edge of the chair. So we're not going to sit all the way back into the chair. We're going to sit just away from the edge. We're going to sit nice and upright. We're going to have our knees over our ankles. We're going to sit at a nice 45-degree angle. I'm never good at the shape. Yeah. Right angle. You're going to sit down. And you're going to decide whether it feels more comfortable to have your palms up or palms down. You're going to decide whether it feels right to have the palms up or palms down. And just sit with your shoulders rolling down your back, before your chest broadening. You're going to try and lift the backs of your ears. Sounds a strange instruction, but lifting the backs of your ears, it helps your head sit nicely on top of your spine. It also gently lifts, brings the chest lifting in the right direction. And you're going to really connect to the seat. Depending on what seat it is, you might want to put the blanket underneath you for a little bit more comfort, but we'll be here just for a few breaths, just to start to arrive in the practice. You just want to close your eyes and just start to separate from what you were doing before you arrived and chose this yoga sequence to watch and practice, and separate from what you're going to be doing once you've finished the practice. Because I think more than any time now, the yoga practice is helping us to really navigate um, our current situation with the coronavirus. We're sending healing and thoughts to those affected by the virus and those who have lost loved ones. We send them healing. And well done once again to you for making time for the practice. So just connect to your breath. Try to find that tiny pause between the inhale and the exhale. And imagine that you've got a piece of thread coming out the top of your crown. And that just helps you to sit nice and tall as you inhale towards the heart and exhale towards the crown. And as you just connect to your breath for a few moments, just as you start to arrive in the practice to make that separation, as I say, from what you were and what you are going to be doing. Just going to share a couple of readings from the Radiant Sutras, which is a book of verses, a conversation between Lord Shiva and Shakti. She who shines everywhere sings. You who hold the mysteries in your hand of will, knowledge, and action, reveal to me this path of illuminated knowing. I long to merge with you, be filled with your nourishing essence. Lead me into joyous union with the life of the universe, that I may know it fully, realize it deeply, and breathe in luminous truth. Keep the breath going, inhaling and exhaling. It's nice to just have a few moments of pause, quiet, before we move further into the practice. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. And gently flutter those eyes open. And staying seated with your sitting nice and upright. Just let your hands fall to the side of the chair. Now, hopefully, you may have something to hold on to. If not, if you don't have a bar at the side of the chair, you can rest your hands at your hips, but hopefully you've got something to hold on to, or the chair seat. Excuse me. We're just going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So that is where we're lifting our chest towards the front of the room, really broadening the shoulders back, almost like you're trying to release the belly away in front of you. So if we were kneeling on the mat, the belly would be hanging down towards the mat. And then like an angry cat, we're going to round the shoulders forward, drop our head towards our knees. Have the shoulders away from the ears, we can really arch back, rounding that spine like an angry cat. And then inhaling, lifting the shoulders, lifting the chest, broadening the chest. We're coming back up into our cow. Just gently holding onto the chest, or the arms of the chair. Then your own breath pattern, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. You're going to keep that sequence, lifting the chest up, coming into your cow, gaze ahead of you. And then lowering the forehead towards the knees as you round the spine, lowering down. And I invite you to close your eyes, because as you close the eyes, you really notice the movement. And there's no right or wrong on the inhale or exhale. You decide which feels right for you. So you may choose to inhale on the cow as you come up, broaden the chest, or you may choose to, and then exhale as you go into the cat. There's no right or wrong, it's whichever feels right for you. So I invite you to do 2 more in your own breath pattern, and then come to some stillness. And once you've done the 2 more, you just pause, keeping your knee above your ankle. Whenever we're seated like this, always knee above the ankle, feet hip width distance apart, and keep really connected to the breath. Helps us to stay in our practice and not be distracted with what may be going on around us at home. If you're alone, you might still be, thinking about what you were doing just before, or you can hear people around you if you do live with others. Whichever one applies to you, just come into your practice. So from here, I'm going to stand and just move the chair to face forward. And then you're going to take your blanket and you're going to open it so the bar or the back of the chair is covered, because you're going to have your sacrum, the bony fused part at the bottom of your spine, right up against that bar, and you're going to sit at an angle. So you're going to come to sitting with your thighs either side of the corner of the chair. So we're now sitting off to the right of the chair. But same principle occurs. We have the feet roughly hip width apart, which is roughly 2 fists between the arches of our feet. Feet are grounded, toes facing forward, knees over ankle. Now, as you sit here, because we're going to go into a twist, if that doesn't feel comfortable and you feel like, oh, you don't feel grounded, you can grab your two books or your phone blocks, whatever you've got to raise the earth to you, and you might find that that is better for you. But just make sure that your knee doesn't become higher than your hip, then you don't need it. But if you feel you need a little bit more height, you can use those bricks. So, with or without your blocks, ground your feet and make sure you're sitting right back against the bar of your chair, but the blanket stops it feeling uncomfortable. Knees over ankles, lifting that chest, and keeping the torso engaged. You're going to place your palms around the edge of the chair. And then from here, keeping the chin in line with the chest, you're going to start to look across to the right. So have the arms wherever it feels most comfortable for you. So you might have a couple of different arm positions, but just decide where. No, it shouldn't feel too taxing. It's strong, but not super strong. So from here, keeping the chin in line with the chest, you then gently start to turn to look towards the right. But keeping the chin in line with the chest ensures that you get the rotation in the torso to help the spine twist gently and slowly. So inhaling, and on the exhale, you see if you can turn some more. And pause. We're going to do it in nice slow stages. You keep the breath pattern going, inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. Inhaling again as you turn slowly, keeping the chin in line with the chest. And you might get to a point, you know what, that's enough. And if that's enough for you, you stay right there. If you feel you can go a little more, you inhale, and on the exhale, you turn a little more until you arrive at your maximum. And you will know where your maximum is because you can feel it all through your trunk. So the twist gives us a lovely, energizing yet calming sensation. Because whilst they're energizing, they also they release tension. And the movement left to right across the spine in this asymmetrical way, it allows eventually for the spine to return to its natural length. Just have a few breaths in wherever your maximum position is in the twist. Just notice where the breath is. As you inhale to the heart and you exhale to the crown in your twist. Bharadvajasana. It's a seated twist. Couple more breaths here. And of course we need to change side. So very gently release the palms and gently undo and pause. Just pause in the center before we think about getting up and moving. And it's always nice, my style of practice or my style of teaching is to allow time between the sides for you to decide which side feels more open, which side feels more tight, because we can pause and give you time to reflect in between, connect back to the breath, and just notice what's going on in the body. We have time. Let's use this time to discover more about ourselves and our practice. So from here, gently coming to stand, we're just going to swish the blanket over to the left. So you're going to excuse my back because, in fact, what I can do is I can come this way. So you move over to the left. And so I'm getting my left and right mixed up because I don't want to end up doing the same side. Okay, so you should now be on the left. I didn't want my back to you. So as before, make sure your sacrum is rooted right up against the bar of the chair, but supported by the blanket. Your feet are hip width apart, rooted into the mat, or step on your bricks if needed. And it might be different on this side, so just see how you feel. And then keeping the chest lifted, shoulders away from the ears, you gently turn to place your arms on the side of the chair, bar of the chair, and you decide where feels right. Now it might feel different on this side, different just for me because my left side is actually really very tight. So I think I might just have to hold the bar of the chair because it actually feels too strong. I've done this one in the bar bottom of the chair. So listen to your body and adjust where your grip is. And then once you're happy, keeping the arms, elbows away from the body, create space in the shoulder and upper arm, keeping the knees over the ankles, and then inhaling, chin in line with the chest. You start to inhale, and on the exhale, you're turning to look at your left shoulder. But obviously, we're going in stages. Do it very slowly and mindfully, and pause. So don't go in one journey. Let's go the scenic route. So just pause. And then there's always a second opportunity in yoga. So we're inhaling, and on the exhale, you turn into more. Chin in line with the chest, shoulders from the ears, lifting the backs of the ears so you've got your head sitting neatly on top of the spine. And seeing how the twist feels on this side. Is it tighter? Is it more open? And then you stop where it feels enough. And where you stop, close your eyes and have a few breaths in your maximum position, just noticing how the body's reacting to the twist. Inhaling to the heart and exhaling to the crown. And noticing if there is that tiny pause. Can you find the tiny pause between the inhale and the exhale? Couple more breaths here. And then inhaling, release the arms, gently come back to center. And once again, just pause. Always pause before moving on wherever possible. And just reflect now, as you've now done both sides of the twist, how does your trunk feel? How does your middle body feel? Do you notice the difference? Does it feel more open? Can you feel that gentle pull or tremor? I can't think of the word at the moment. But there's a definite sense of you've done some work there. But you decide what you feel. What do you notice? Couple more breaths. Come back into your practice. If the thoughts will definitely come, that's a guarantee. But the trick is not to engage with the thoughts when they come. The trick is just to note them, but not get into the dialogue. So from here, we're coming to standing and do a couple of standing postures before we take the seat again to close. So I'm going to put my chair back over here. So have the chair fully on your mat, and we're going to move between downward dog and upward dog. So place your palms on the edge of your chair and keeping your knees over your ankles. You're going to step back as far as feels comfortable for your downward facing dog, with your feet about hip width apart. Remember, that's about 2 knuckles distance apart. And arms fully extended. And keeping the chest broad, shoulders from the ears, gazing forward, so you can really spread the buttock bones and feel the stretch and the opening in the side of the body. And the fact that you've just done that twist, hopefully it's feeling nice and open. So from here, inhaling, and on the exhale, just gently lower the head in between your upper arm bones. And there you've arrived in your downward facing dog. And I think I can step back a little bit more. You just decide the length that feels right for you. And then release once again. Letting the head fall in between your upper arms. Keeping the chest lifted, shoulders from the ears. And then inhaling, coming up one more time. And then inhaling, and on the exhale, release the head down in between the arms. Now from here, we're going to inhale, and as we come up, we're going to roll forward and move into an upward dog. So we're going to come literally just onto the tops of our toes. So we're not rolling over like a full upward dog. Oh, we're not flipping the toes. Just standing on the toes, keeping the shoulders from the ears, lengthening through the heel. And then you're going to inhale, push back into your downward dog. Just pause there for one breath. Just going to inhale and roll back, inhaling, rolling back up, coming into the Urdhva Mukha, upward dog. Shoulders above the wrists and shoulders from the ears. Lengthen back through the heels as you press through the toenails. Inhaling, pushing back. Exhaling, head back in between the arms. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, rippling forward, coming up into your Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. Lengthen through the heels, wrap the thighs towards one another, keeping space in the back body. Inhaling and exhaling, pushing back into your downward facing dog. Last one. Inhaling, coming up. And there we go. Shoulders from the ears. Lengthen back through the legs. Keep them fully engaged. And exhaling, pushing back into the downward dog. And then slowly, mindfully, just step a little bit closer. And just pause. Couple breaths here. Ardha Uttanasana. And then bring your palms to your hips. And then inhaling, slowly rise all the way up to Tadasana. So we're going to turn the chair. And you're going to come long ways on your mat. Grab your blanket. You're just going to fold the blanket at the edge of the mat. Sorry, not the mat, the chair. And stand with your feet together at the mat. But bring your heels to the very back of the mat. So you can actually stand, beg your pardon, stand with your feet hip width apart. But stand with your heels right up against the edge of the mat. So you're lining up the back of your heel, both feet, with the very edge of your yoga mat. And then from here, we're going to move into a forward fold. So if you actually come to standing upright, hands on your hips, feel all 4 corners of your feet rooted into the mat. And then from here, Inhaling, take a big wide step, keeping the heels against the edge of the mat. Slightly turn the toes in, heels very slightly out, very softly, toes in, heels out. Really rooting through the feet, engage the feet, kind of try and wrap the thighs in towards one another, creating space in the lower back. Shrug the shoulders down the back, space in the chest, lifting the backs of the ears. And then from here, inhaling, raise the arms up, and then folding forward, cross the arms as you come forward, and release your crossed arms onto the chair. And on the exhale, release your forehead down onto your arms, coming into a supported Prasarita Padanatasana, which is spread foot, wide angle pose. And as you rest your head, you might find, oh, you might be able to extend the legs a little bit more. You might find actually the chair needs to go out a little bit more, so the hips are forward of your heels. And just rest the head for a few breaths, keeping connected to the breath at all times. Keep wrapping those thighs in towards one another. Inhaling and exhaling. Chest probably better further away from you. So you can just rest your head at the edge of the seat or on your arms, whichever feels better for you. And if you need more height, you can put your 2 bricks under the blanket. And once you're settled, you keep rooting through the heels, keep the hips forward of your ankles, rest the head, and feel the opening to the backs of the legs, opening to the top of the shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling. And gently change the cross of your arms. If you have your arms crossed over under your head, and then rest your head back, keeping the legs engaged. Try not to roll back. Keep bringing the hips level forward. Few more breaths here. Check in with how you're feeling. And very slowly start to deepen the breath as you separate the arms, holding on to the seat of the chair, coming to semi-upright. And then you can just step the feet in, step the feet to hip width apart, bring your hands to the hips, and then once again inhale, coming all the way up to standing. And then deservedly now turn the chair and come to seated. You can leave the blanket on the chair, or indeed you can wrap the blanket around you as you come to sit in your final pose, seated Shavasana. And it's simply as we started, sitting with your feet hip width apart, rooted into the ground, sitting nice and tall, lifting the chest, lifting the backs of the ears, hands lightly resting on the backs of the thighs, and connect to the breath and check in with how you're feeling after your twists, after the forward fold. Hopefully the back body is feeling nice and open, and you can feel some sort of space created in your trunk. And share one final reading from the Radiant Sutras before we separate. Radiant One, the life essence carries on its plane through the pulsing rhythm of the outward and inward movement. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. The inhalation, the return movement of breath sustains life. The outgoing breath purifies life. These are the two poles between which respiration goes on unceasingly. Between them is every delight you could desire. Even when the senses are turned outward, your attention on the external world, attend also to the inner throb, the pulsing of the creative impulse within you. Notice how you're feeling at the end of your practice. Have a few more grounding breaths. Try and find that pause between the inhale and the exhale as you have a few moments of quiet, checking in with the breath, checking in with yourself in the last few moments of your practice. Slowly start to deepen your breathing and start to wriggle your fingers and toes. Bring life back into the body. And then very gently from here, inhale, raise the arms up overhead and hook the thumbs and reach through the thumbs. There's your full body stretch. And extend one leg out. And put that leg down and then extend the other leg. And then release the arms. Place the palms back on the thighs. And just take a moment to check in finally how you're feeling. Inhale, bringing your palms to your heart center. Exhale, bowing your head to your hands in gratitude for your yoga practice today, that we are still able in these times to be able to connect to our yoga practice. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Release the palms. Open the eyes. Raise the gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. We wish you well.